When a young real estate agent gets a call from wealthy out-of-town buyers, it should be the opportunity of a lifetime. But for Lindsay Buziak, it became something far darker. And on February 2nd, 2008, while showing a house to her potential clients, she had also walked into a carefully planned trap. This is the story of the unsolved murder of Lindsay Buziak.
Welcome to Crimenelia Street. I'm Tori.
And I'm Sam. And we are gathered here today for episode 36. Welcome back. Woohoo!
I have a lot of bevies tonight. I guess it's just one more than usual, and that one's not exciting, but I feel really full over here on my bevy counter. So I've got my tea, and I did one chai tea in it. I'm a double bag girly.
Absolutely.
That could be misconstrued.
I get what you're putting down. Yeah.
I usually do 2 of whatever tea I'm drinking, but I was like, I don't want 2 chai teas. That might be too much caffeine because I don't want to sleep. It's like I want to be very awake for this next hour to 2 that we're recording, and then I want to pass out after.
Absolutely.
I want to go from like so awake to just sleeping before I can even reach my bed.
So yeah, horizontal immediately. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I've tried 1 chai and then 1 peppermint, which it wakes you up, but like it's not caffeine, you know?
Right. So. Right. Just herbally.
Right. Which like, is that really anything?
Right.
So there's that. A little creative with the tea tonight. Lime bubbly, always.
Nice. Love it.
I went high noon this time. I just have like 1,000 of these in my fridge from the Super Bowl still. When was the Super Bowl?
Yeah. It was earlier. Yeah.
And then I brought a flat water tonight as well, in case, I had too many bubbles.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to calm it down with the flat bevy. Well, that sounds delightful. I just have 2 bevies. Yeah. I am insane, and I'm drinking an iced coffee at 9:17 p.m. But it'll be fine. Caffeine, it will wake me up for a little bit, but I can definitely fall asleep afterwards easily, thankfully. I don't know what it is. Yeah, very short-lived. And then I also have, it's a bit watered down now, but it's a Diet Coke with some lemon in it. Usually I do lime.
Oh, yummy.
But I was feeling lemon.
So it's not super crisp.
It's not super crisp, right, because I forgot to put it in the freezer. I usually like to put it in the freezer for a little bit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is a dangerous game because I also forget a lot of the time, but it's fine. Right? But lately I've just been like, ooh, I love crushed ice in my DC, but it doesn't. Yeah, short life.
Chug it.
Yeah, for sure. But it's fine. I'll still drink it. But yeah, that's what I got for tonight.
Yum. I like the lemon in the Diet Coke. That sounds yummy.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Well, not that I don't like. I'm just not a Pepsi girly. I'm strictly. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my thoughts exactly. But they used to have Pepsi Twist. And there was like a commercial with the Osbournes, and I actually really loved a Pepsi Twist. That was way back in the day, but
I feel like I remember that maybe.
It was just a moment in time. Could be. I could have made it up in my head
right now.
Just like the Sinbad movie. I know that Mandela effect has been beaten to the ground, but I swear I remember that movie.
Is it not?
Because there's the Shaq one.
Okay.
And then the Sinbad one. And I just before I even knew what a Mandela effect was, I've thought about this movie. So it's like, only to find out it's not real. And that's pretty rude. So
Did I tell you about there was like some weird Mandela effect? Oh, no, we did talk about that. The bridge.
The bridge, the Howard Frank land. I guess we just haven't noticed it throughout all these years. Which is crazy.
And it's just crazy because like I vividly can see in my mind like Franklin spelled on one of those big green like interstate signs. But my brain just created that, I guess. Or we jump timelines.
Or that. It has to be one or the other. So those are some crazy odds.
I think we should do our names.
Oh, shoot, our names. That's right. I forgot.
Sam tonight is FU Ticketmaster, and like I could not agree more. Like,
yes,
we're just flying birds over here right now.
Exactly. Yes, Ticketmaster / Live Nation, and it's kind of Taylor adjacent because the whole hoopla I feel kind of started. Even though this has been happening for a long time, the pushback really started with the Eras Tour and how insane ticket prices were. And I think just today or yesterday, a jury ruled that they were acting as a monopoly, which is like super illegal.
Right.
So,
and I don't even know, from my understanding, it wasn't so much like the initial ticket prices, it was how many tickets they had set aside for each like sale, because there was like 3 pre-sales and then like the general sale, and they're supposed to only have like so many tickets set aside for the pre-sales, but they sold out of all the tickets in like the first pre-sale, and then there's like the Capital One sale, and like there were no more tickets left for that.
Right.
And then the general sale, there was like absolutely no tickets left for, and it was just like, well, if you're Ticketmaster and you have all these systems in place that like we fucking pay fees into all the time, then why can't you provide something that actually makes sense and is fair to everyone? Which I will say, it has been much more difficult to get tickets since then, because it's a lot harder to get a ticket in the pre-sale than it was pre hoopla. But
Hoopla, yes, yeah.
and then people are like, well, why doesn't Taylor just don't use Ticketmaster, then just, she started her own record label, or I don't think did she start her own record label? She recorded her own records, she can think outside the box. Why doesn't she start her own Ticketmaster? People were saying, and you can't, and this is where the monopoly part comes in, because Live Nation owns all of the arenas, so there's nowhere to play if you don't sell through, if you have crowds Taylor size and you don't sell through
right.
So
yeah, what a racket. Tori this evening is Invisible Strings, which amazing song.
I did this one just because they sent out their wedding invites recently. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I did see something about that. Yes.
Yeah, and then they even had, when I say they, I'm referencing Travis and Taylor, obviously.
Right. Our dear friends.
Right. Mine hasn't arrived yet. Weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Snail mail, am I right? Sorry.
That's okay, no. Did you see that they watermarked the invitation so that people couldn't sell them, and so I just thought that was funny.
Was it so people don't have, has anyone posted theirs as well, or was it, so maybe that's another reason why they put the person's name on it too, because I read that it's like the person's name is in there, so there's no way.
Right.
Which so is like
if it did leak, they know who leaked it.
Right. Who's responsible, which is like crazy. Like, I wonder what that phone call would be like. Oh my God. But I would love to know what what they look like. All right. So are you ready to fuck some shit up?
Let's fuck it up.
All right. Lindsay Elizabeth Buziak was born on November the 2nd, 1983, to Jeff and Evelyn Buziak in picturesque Victoria, British Columbia. Her father, Jeff, was a local real estate agent, and her mother, Evelyn, was a stay-at-home mom to Lindsay and her younger sister, Sarah. And although her parents divorced in her teens and her dad moved to Calgary, Alberta, she stayed close with her family and shared a tight bond with her little sister. She was known as warm and outgoing and had a natural ability to connect with people around her. Her mother said that she was smart and full of joy and had a kindness about her shown in situations such as Lindsay sticking up for a boy who was being bullied at school. After graduating high school, that personality translated into ambition, and she started working early and eventually decided to follow her father's footsteps into real estate, and in June 2006, she graduated from the University of British Columbia's Real Estate Trading Services program and earned her license, becoming one of 20 real estate agents in Victoria who were under the age of 25.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was also, that's a lot of words, that program she...
I know, I was like...
You could take a breath in the middle of it almost.
Right. And you can see picture number 2 is just her as a child. Just a cute little picture.
So cute.
And then the next one is Lindsay and her father, Jeff. They were very, very close. She was close with her mother as well, but I feel like from what it seems like she had just a special relationship with her dad.
Yeah.
And then
they probably like worked together too, so I'm sure that brings them closer.
And like you can imagine, he probably gave her advice and showed her the ropes of being in real estate and everything. So while attending UBC, her mentor Helen Jones would hold a real estate workshop, and it was there that she met a man named Jason Zulio. She had heard of him before. He was a popular former competitive hockey player and came from a prominent family in the real estate scene in Victoria. They hit it off immediately, and by 2007, they were dating and living together in a one-bedroom condo in the upscale Inner Harbor area owned by the Zalio family.
I feel like a hockey player in Victoria has to be like royalty, right?
Right, I would think
Do we
so.
have any Canadian listeners? Well, Sam's Canadian.
Yes. No, I feel like, yeah. And it is kind of like a relatively like smaller where they are at. It's like a smaller, tight-knit community too. It is still very like kind of ritzy though. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So she met this hockey player who also happened to be in real estate. And not only that, his family was like, they had all these different investment properties, like, they were doing really well. And his
Practically royalty.
exactly, yeah. His mother was one of the most successful real estate agents in Victoria.
Oh, wow.
At the time.
So, I am curious to our Canadian listeners because we do have some.
We do.
Yeah, if you guys are listening, email us. Let us know. Is it the same as like here in America dating a football player? Especially if you're like in high school, like dating the football player. But anyways, it's like a big thing, I feel like. So just curious.
Right. Would love to know.
Is it the same?
And they would also spend time at another one of the Zalio investment properties. It was a beautiful lakeside vacation home on Shawnigan Lake. Lindsay had also become employed at Remax Camison. That was the same brokerage that employed Jason and his mother, Shirley, and she found success pretty quickly. And within that first year of working at that Remax office, Lindsay had helped close 8 properties totaling $3.2 million. Victoria, British Columbia is one of the most expensive cities in Canada to buy a house in, so she was definitely in the right business to make money and further her career there.
Nice.
So everything on the surface looked promising and optimistic for Lindsay. She was living the dream life. A budding successful career and a power couple-esque relationship. However, there are some accounts from people close to Lindsay that things weren't so perfect behind closed doors. In December 2007, Lindsay was visiting her father, Jeff, in Calgary and expressed some discontent with her relationship with Jason, saying that he wasn't as ambitious as she was, and Jason and his mother, Shirley, could be a bit controlling and a bit overbearing, and she was thinking of ending things.
Okay.
Her friends back home said that she had expressed similar concerns before. Jason himself has stated that he knew the relationship had its issues, but he didn't think it was as close to ending as other people were saying. However, things started to look up for the couple in January 2008 when Lindsay went with Jason and his family on a vacation to Whistler, a popular vacation spot, like for skiing and things like that. And when she returned, her circle of friends agreed that she seemed a lot happier in the relationship and confident that her and Jason could get through their issues together. On Thursday, January 31st, 2008, Lindsay received a phone call to her personal cell phone. The woman had a thick accent that Lindsay couldn't quite place, but thought it could possibly be a Spanish accent. She later mentioned to colleagues that it felt forced or maybe even completely fake. The woman said her husband was being transferred to Victoria from Vancouver and they needed to buy a new home. They needed a new build, it to be vacant and ready to move in, at least 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a large primary suite, and a separate area for a housekeeper with a budget of $1 million. Lindsay asked the woman how she got her personal number, and the woman said that she had gotten it through a previous client of Lindsay who recommended Lindsay, but she never gave a name. Another kicker to all this was they needed the home within 2 days, which is an extremely quick turnaround time, for really anything, let alone real estate. But Lindsay was determined to make it happen, even if the whole conversation seemed a little bit strange. This would be her first 7-figure sale all on her own and would definitely push her up the ranks. Lindsay never wrote a name down and never mentioned a name to anyone, and whether that's because she forgot or the woman never mentioned it, we will never know. She did have the number saved in her phone as $1 Million, and within the next couple of days, Lindsay spoke to several people about how she was excited but felt uneasy about the whole situation. How the accent seemed fake or forced, and the way this client got her personal cell phone number in the first place. Lindsay even tried to contact her previous clients just to find them and thank them for the referral and also get any more info, but no one had any idea of who these people could be.
Right.
So, very odd, for sure.
Yeah. So she's like kind of picking up on that it's strange, but driven by the fact that it could really like push her career forward.
Right. Like she's excited. It almost seems like kind of too good to be true. But I mean, you got to take these opportunities, and lots of people, like real estate, I feel like thrives on a lot of referrals. So the fact that she doesn't know these people isn't like a huge deal, but it is just kind of strange. Everything is just, something's off here. Mm-hmm. She had a busy weekend that weekend as well, which was causing her a little bit of anxiety because she was surprising her best friend with a bachelorette party that weekend. And so she needed to be at this bachelorette party on Saturday night, which is when the clients were trying to view the home. Throughout the next day, she called her dad, Jeff, for some advice, and he offered to even fly to Victoria to be there with her, as, of course, he was in real estate, just to ease her worries and allow her to secure the sale, but she said that wasn't necessary. Jason, her boyfriend, offered a couple of times that he could help. He said that he would be happy to show the homes to the couple himself. That way she wouldn't risk being late for the bachelorette parties, and she wouldn't have to deal with the mysterious couple that she was feeling uneasy about. Yeah. But Lindsay really wanted to do this by herself. Jason then offered to accompany her to the showings, and she said no, but she did agree that he could park outside of the home while she is showing it, and that way she could still accomplish this by herself, but also have that peace of mind that he's right there. So the next day, around 7 p.m. on Friday, February 1st, 2008, Shirley Zaleo, Jason's mother, stopped by Jason and Lindsay's condo. Jason was out playing a hockey game, and when she arrived, Lindsay was on the phone with the mysterious clients. The conversation lasted about 15 minutes, and Shirley remembers Lindsay saying the address of the first home they would be viewing, 1702 D'Souza Place, and that they would meet at 5:30 p.m. This house was newly built, priced at around $965,000, and was the first on a cul-de-sac. And it also happened to be built by a family friend of the Zaleos, a local developer named Joe D'Souza, which is where they got the street name from. And Shirley helped to get the house speed cleaned the next day ahead of the client's arrival. The following day was Saturday, February 2nd, 2008. Lindsay and Jason planned to get a late lunch at a local eatery prior to the meeting. On her way to the restaurant, Lindsay stopped by the RE/MAX office to grab a couple of documents, and she spoke to some of the other agents as well. They said she appeared uneasy and expressed some concern about the showing. 2 agents offered to attend the showing with her, but she declined because she said that Jason was going to be there with her at 5:30 and just wait outside. She then headed to the restaurant to meet Jason, where they enjoyed lunch together. The bill was paid at 4:24 p.m., and they went their separate ways. Jason to go meet a friend at a car detailing spot before the showing. Lindsay headed back to their condo for a quick outfit change. Little did Jason know that this would be the last time he saw Lindsay alive. Security footage shows Jason arriving at a spot called SHC Autographics right at 4:29, so it must have been right around the corner from the restaurant. He picked up a friend named Cohen Oatman from the shop, and then they were seen leaving in Jason's Range Rover at 5:30 p.m. The two had plans to attend a hockey game that evening after Lindsay's showing. Jason explained to Cohen about the situation with the showing and how Lindsay felt uneasy, and that this would really just be a quick pit stop they would have to make before the game. He also texted Lindsay at 5:29 p.m. saying he's about 9 miles away, and Lindsay responded, "Okay, I'll see you in a bit." Lindsay must have gotten to the property around 5:20 p.m. The last person to lock the home on the lockbox was the developer himself, Joe D'Souza, at 5 p.m., who had shown up with the cleaners earlier on in the day to make sure everything looked perfect for the showing. And with this being a very new neighborhood, Jason's GPS on his Range Rover was having trouble locating the address, so he gave Lindsay a quick call to get some further directions. She began telling him how to get to the house when she said, "They're here, I've got to go," and hung up quickly. Also, just before 5:30 p.m., witnesses in the neighborhood saw a man and a woman walking near the home and saw them greet Lindsay in the driveway, which is interesting that they only saw them walking. They never saw any kind of vehicle or anything like that.
Right.
So the man was about 6 feet tall. He was Caucasian and had dark hair and was described as well dressed. He wore a longer light brown jacket that went past his waist, kind of like mid-thigh. And the woman was also described as Caucasian, from 35 to 45 years old. She had short blonde hair and wore a dress with a pretty distinctive pattern. It was red, white, and black, like swirls. Based on the body language from Lindsay, it appears that she had never met them before. She shook hands with both of them and appeared to engage in friendly conversation, and the showing began with the lockbox being opened at 5:29 p.m. She would lead the couple in the house and close the door behind her. She took off her shoes by the entryway, and you can imagine began to show the different amenities and features of the home. Now, with the call ending before he could get the final directions from Lindsay, Jason actually called his younger brother, Ryan, who was a fellow real estate agent. And with his help, he was able to get the correct directions to 1702 D'Souza Place. Jason sent a text at 5:38 p.m. to Lindsay saying he was only a few minutes away. However, this would never be opened by Lindsay. So at this point, the showing moved upstairs to the second floor where the primary bedroom suite was located. The couple appeared to follow Lindsay up the stairs sometime around 5:40 to 5:41 p.m. when the unthinkable happened. With her back turned, one of the pair began attacking her brutally with a knife. Lindsay showed no defensive wounds, so it must have incapacitated her pretty quickly without any chance of her defending herself. The attack has been described as vicious, with over 40 stab wounds concentrated on her chest, face, and neck area.
Oh my gosh.
Now, at the same time this attack is happening, Lindsay's cell phone does something weird. It is still in her jacket pocket, and it makes an accidental call to an old friend that Lindsay hadn't even spoken to in years. It was just a contact she had in her phone. And this friend received a voicemail that only had like muffled noises from inside the house. It just sounded like a lot of movement.
Wow.
Right.
Wow,
Which is
that is so horrific.
Mm-hmm. Imagine like being that old friend and like getting a weird voicemail and being like, huh, that's weird. And then later finding out.
Dial.
Right. Oh my gosh. So crazy. So
what is these people's motivation?
I know. It's so strange. And like neighbors have seen, they reported seeing the couple. So it's,
right. And
it's
like
just so.
Like a pattern dress that stands out, and just like walking up to the house too, which like, okay, maybe smart not to like have a vehicle with like a license plate and stuff that you can be tracked
right.
on, but it stands out, I feel like, to just be walking up
right.
to $1 million home.
Exactly, for sure. At approximately 5:45 p.m., Jason and Cohen turned down the street onto the cul-de-sac. Jason said he saw the front door begin to open and two figures behind the frosted glass door. However, as the figures appeared to see the Range Rover pull up, they quickly shut the door. And Jason was thinking at this time that the showing was still going on. So you can imagine that he didn't want to like intrude on the showing or interrupt such a big sale. So the two men waited for about 10 minutes before they started to get concerned. It's starting to get darker and darker outside, and the house just started to look like there wasn't much movement inside. Jason sent a text to Lindsay asking, "Are you okay?" with no response. He then began calling her over and over, but no answer. Jason walked up to the door and rang the doorbell and did not get an answer. And then he rang it again and again and again and again. He then frantically called 911 at 6:05 p.m. as himself and Cohen were running around to the backyard of the home to see if there was another way inside, as the front door was locked shut. As he was talking to the dispatcher, he said that he was worried about his girlfriend who was showing a house and he hadn't been able to reach her. While he was on the phone still, he lifted Cohen over the fence as Cohen was able to see that the patio doors were left wide open. The 911 call gets dropped as Cohen gets over the fence and rushes to the front door to let Jason inside. Through the frosted glass, he could see Lindsay's shoes still lying there in the entryway from when she took them off. I just thought that was such a chilling detail.
Honestly,
but
and
to
it's
see
just
that,
I just feel like we all get paranoid about like little things all the time in our lives, and then you survive it, and then you're like, oh man, I was so silly for like worrying about that. And I'm sure that's kind of how they were going into this as well. Like it's a little weird, but like it's gonna be fine, and we'll be happy we did it on the other side. And it's just like their worst nightmares coming true. Yeah,
for sure. The 911 call gets dropped as Cohen gets over the fence and rushes to the front door. to let Jason inside. The two men split up, with Cohen looking through the first floor as Jason rushes up the stairs yelling Lindsay's name. As he gets to the top of the staircase, he sees a horrific sight in front of him. There, slumped against a wall in the primary bedroom, was Lindsay in a pool of blood. Jason immediately attempts CPR, and then a second 911 phone call from Cohen is made at 6:11 p.m. However, at this point, police are already on their way and entering the cul-de-sac because of the first call. Jason was later describing the events to reporters and said that he could hear air, describing how the air he breathed into Lindsay escaped through her stab wounds.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh, so horrific, dude. Then police and EMT arrived to see Jason and Cohen urgently waving from the upstairs front window. They also attempt life-saving measures, but unfortunately it was too late and Lindsay Buziak was gone.
I'm sure that some of these questions are going to get answered, but I just have so many right now. Like, it just seems like such a strange setup. That it's like how these people must be doing this in more than one place, right? Like, they've got to be linked elsewhere. They're not just showing up and doing this one time.
I mean, they seem very, I mean, this was planned, and it seems like a very, it's not just like, oh, let's just like murder someone random, so.
Right, because to her personal number, and then super quick too, because they're leaving the house 3 to 4 minutes after they murdered her.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, Jason was distraught at this point, and he kept repeating how if he would have been there just 10 minutes earlier, she would still be alive. Jason and Cohen were both brought in for questioning. However, police cleared them of any suspicion. Apart from a few bloody footprints leading out of the home, police were unable to find any physical evidence at the scene. There were no fibers or fingerprints. There was no murder weapon, no hair. There was nothing. Wow. Detectives concluded that the killers must have fled in haste out of the backyard when they saw Jason and Cohen arrive, as the French doors were just left wide open, and then a couple of panels were kicked out from the backyard fence, leaving just enough space for someone to slip through and escape. Even with the quick, seemingly kind of unplanned escape like that, detectives determined this to be a meticulously planned homicide. They felt as though these were professional killers, but who wanted to kill Lindsay and why? So Jason became incredibly frustrated with the police and how the investigation began that night. At Saanich Police Headquarters, Jason had told a local news station that it took police hours and hours to begin their interview with him. He said, "It made me so mad, thinking that the police were wasting their time and resources questioning him and Cohen. What they should have been doing is having 8, 10, or 12 cars out searching right away. I think they totally botched the whole investigation in the very first day."
Do we know that they weren't searching right away?
It just appears that, like, they were so focused on Jason and Cohen and thinking they were the ones that did that they thought that they caught the killers, because it's like, here's the boyfriend,
Right, and, like, obviously you do have to investigate that. Right? So, like, I was a little annoyed. He was annoyed that they're questioning him. But, like, also you have to investigate. Like, you have those people. They're caught. Mm-hmm. So, like, they can simmer there. Maybe be out looking in case there's someone else too.
Right, for sure. And I'm sure if they had, I wonder at what point did they interview the neighbors that saw the couple, in the first place, and I wonder how long it took them to get there.
Right.
Nevertheless, Jason said that he cooperated fully with investigators. He took a polygraph test, and he turned over his phone and his laptop and the laptop that himself and Lindsay shared. So Jason and Cohen were eventually cleared of any suspicion and released the following morning. And with the timeline and their alibis in place, it would have been physically impossible for them to commit the crime, really.
Right.
So So the phone the couple used to contact Lindsay was a burner phone. It was purchased in late November 2007 at a convenience store on Davie Street in downtown Vancouver.
What is the date that this happened?
February the 2nd, 2008.
Okay.
Yep, and then the phone was purchased in November 2007.
Right. Okay.
And the phone was activated in late January 2008 in the same vicinity that it was purchased in. Investigators found that the phone traveled to Victoria just 24 hours prior to Lindsay's murder. The first calls made to Lindsay were from Vancouver's West End neighborhood, confirmed by hits on cell towers in the city. Police said at least a half dozen calls were made to Lindsay, and then after her murder, the cell phone was never used again. And then also, unfortunately, so many months had gone by since it was actually purchased, they weren't able to get any security footage from those days as well. So another interesting factor in this case is what happened during Lindsay's trip to see her father in Calgary in December 2007, just a few months before her murder. And that was the trip where she kind of did express to her dad, oh, we might be having, I might be unhappy with my relationship, but that's just, just to give you a placer for it. So while she was there, she had made contact with some old acquaintances of hers. And at this time, a massive drug bust was being planned by local police involving one of those same acquaintances. And it's funny because the drug bust was nicknamed High Noon. Oh. So when you said I'm drinking a High Noon, I was like, oh, that's so funny.
Did that on purpose?
Right. We totally planned that. So this massive drug bust being planned by authorities in Calgary was nicknamed High Noon. And before she went back home, Lindsay had told her father, Jeff, that she saw something that she shouldn't have, but she wouldn't say exactly what. And then on January 2nd, 2008, police seized $8 million worth of cocaine and arrested several drug traffickers, and one of them being that old acquaintance of Lindsay's. And so this whole thing would lead to many different theories that Lindsay was actually an informant in the bust, therefore getting a hit placed on her. So police have widely dispelled this theory, as there is no evidence there's no evidence at all that Lindsay was an informant, and that the investigation had began quite a long time before Lindsay even went back to visit Calgary. So that's their kind of explanation for it. I do think it is interesting. Right. What did she see that she shouldn't have seen?
Right, yeah.
And she was not into, she would drink and stuff, but she was not a drug user at all. So another weird thing happened a few months after the murder. One of Lindsay's close friends named Nikki received a phone call in the middle of the night from a number she didn't recognize. It was a woman on the line, and she was talking, but Nikki was half asleep or half awake at the time. I wasn't fully understanding what the woman was saying, but she realized that the woman was talking in an unusual accent that she couldn't pick up from where. And it immediately made her think about Lindsay and the call that she had received as well. And the call ended abruptly, and she tried calling dozens of times, calling the number over and over and over again, until someone finally answered. And it was Shirley Zaleo, Jason's mother. So Shirley said it must have been completely by accident, that Shirley was actually trying to reach her secretary, who was also named Nikki. But this is super weird because Lindsay's friend Nikki was not in the real estate industry at all. So why would Shirley even have her number to begin with? And so Shirley says that the reason that she had it must have been from when Lindsay and Jason were dating, and Jason, that was one of her closest friends, and for some reason that she couldn't remember, Jason had put her number in there. But she also denies ever making that call to Nikki in the first place, which I guess it's like, it's just very strange. Yeah, it was at night.
So why is she calling her secretary at night too?
That is another good point.
Speaking in a weird accent.
Yeah. So that's another bit of
a
theory. Yeah, that it's something to do, like, Shirley, I'm not sure how close they actually were, but that is just a theory that has floated around that she has something to do with it.
And she was controlling.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Also interesting, but
seems less far-fetched than drug bust theory to me.
Right. So within a year of Lindsay's murder, thousands of tips were received, and recently the case was assigned a new group of detectives, as recent, I think in 2021. Police think it's someone who knew her. The attack was very coordinated and planned, yet it also seemed vicious and personal and definitely not random. One of the detectives on the case, his name is Sergeant Horsley. Sergeant Horsley said, "There's nothing in her life, and we've conducted an extensive background check that would indicate that she was involved in anything criminal and anything of a domestic violence relationship, and that is the most perplexing thing. It is also possible Buziak's killers were under the mistaken impression that she had revealed information that she shouldn't have," he said, "or perhaps that she was somehow connected to a dangerous person without knowing it." He said, "You can be a person who just works and minds their own business in Victoria, yet through a very brief network of friends, you could be absolutely connected to people that are involved in very bad things." Interesting.
Ominous.
Another detective on the case, Sergeant Dean Jansen, he said, "This killing was very organized. There was a lot of planning and effort and forethought. These are the most complex of crimes, and this is the most egregious crime, and often they can become long-term and complicated. There are people in the community who are withholding information, and we know there is a bit of cone of silence around this."
It almost sounds like they have some ideas.
Yeah.
But
I think so.
Close to the chest.
Right.
Is that how the saying goes? Close to the chest?
I think so. Yeah. Okay. Close to the chest.
Yeah, it sounds
keeping
like
your cards close to your chest. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think they have some suspicion, like targeted suspicions, it sounds like.
For sure. Lindsay's father, Jeff, is still holding out hope that the killers will be brought to justice. He runs a website. I'll link it below. I think it's lindsaybuziakmurder.com.
Wow.
Sorry, it's not funny, but it's just just so out there.
Straightforward.
Right. And it has lots of news articles, all the updates about the case you can find there. And there's even a message board where users can discuss the details of the case. And every February 2nd, on the anniversary of her death, Jeff holds a memorial walk for her to remind the community to be on the lookout for any tips or information that would lead to her killers. He's been the most vocal about it. Which obviously, I don't blame him. His baby girl got taken from him. So he also has appeared on Dr. Phil to plead with the public for any information that they may have. And he has definitely let it be known, as you can see in the pictures, that he thinks that the police has botched this investigation. And his suspicion has mainly been towards the Zaleo family, although they claim their innocence.
Interesting. Okay.
And actually, there were some pretty defamatory comments left up on his website. Although Jeff did not leave them himself, he kind of kept them up there. And this led to Shirley Zaleo actually suing Jeff for defamation in 2022.
Wow.
Which led to him... I couldn't find... I just see that Jeff is now countersuing her. So it appears that she did win, and now he's suing her, which she started in 2024.
Wow.
Lindsay's mother, Evelyn, just last year uploaded a video on YouTube to the public on what would have been Lindsay's 42nd birthday. And she was also pleading for any information and for the killers to come forward. And she was saying, "I need answers and closure." Evelyn said every member of the family struggles with not knowing what happened to Lindsay, and she is appealing to anyone who knows something about Lindsay's death to come forward. She says it's never too late to do the right thing, to relieve yourself of the burden that you've been carrying all of these years, to share the truth and to be the person that brings peace to a broken-hearted mom, and to do the right thing for Lindsay, a very special and wonderful woman that we all miss. So sad. And of course, anyone with relevant information about Lindsay's homicide is asked to contact the Saanich Police Department at 250-475-4321. And that's the story.
Wow. It's so sad. It's just so weird. What is the motivation?
Right.
I lean on the family. I don't know about the boyfriend per se, but I mean, maybe that's why he was late.
Right. I mean, but it's like he was with, like, then the friend would have to be in on it as well.
Would he? I mean, he could just be like, I don't know how to get there.
Right. Or I guess, you're saying like he knew that she was going to be killed. Because, I mean, someone had to have access to her, like, personal information, like her schedule, to know that she would still be in town.
And the
probably.
mom definitely did, because she helped her get cleaner, and she remembered the address of the first house.
Right. Allegedly. We don't.
Right.
Allegedly, Shirley.
Right.
We're just talking here. And also people are saying that it's weird that Jason, like, immediately went up the stairs of the home. But then also, like, this, if you look at the floor plan, the banister, it is right there. And if Cohen was already looking through the bottom floor.
And had come through the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
To open the door.
To open the door, yeah. But yeah, and it's just super weird that no one has recognized those people.
Right. The phone call was really strange.
Yeah, for sure. Mickey. I'm sorry, that is weird. And I wish we could I wish there was some way we could, like, compare the two weird accents, you know? Like, I want to hear what these accents were.
But it's like, even if she did do it, why would she be calling anyone and doing that accent again, you know? Like,
right.
We'll just go over a fun little fact before we get to our quiz.
Okay.
I'm going to mark it off so I don't tell the same fun fact at some other point. Taylor's parents, Scott Swift and Andrea Gardner Swift. I did not know Gardner was in there.
I did not know the hyphen was a part of it.
It's not a hyphen, so I wonder if it's a middle name or, like, a maiden name.
Interesting.
First met when Scott was on a business trip in Andrea's hometown of Harris County, Texas.
Wow. Texas.
Cute. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
The more you know.
I wonder is there any major cities in Harris County, Texas? Oh, Houston. That's where my parents are. Wow.
That's
6
a pretty
degrees
big
of
one.
separation. Yeah.
Right. Are you ready for some trivia?
I'm ready for it.
All right. What was the original title for Mary's song? And it's multiple choice.
Okay.
Your face just dropped. Okay, first option A is Last Friday Night. B, Oh My My My. C, Firework. And D, Teenage Dream.
Whoa. I'm sensing a Katy Perry vibe. So it's like, because her song she has a song called Last Friday Night, a song called Firework, and Teenage Dream. Like those are all Katy Perry's things. So is this a trick question? Because then I would have to say, oh my. But what if it's like Teenage Dream? I mean, I'm gonna say just oh my. I'm gonna say B.
I was also gonna say oh my, and I didn't know any of that Katy Perry stuff. So let's check. Let's see.
Okay. Which is lots of Katy Perry drama going on right now.
B. Oh my. Look at us.
Yes.
It just felt like she would have called it that. I feel like I don't know.
Right.
Well,
isn't it like right? Isn't it Mary's song and then parentheses? Oh my.
Is it? It might be actually.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see.
Oh my.
Yes, it is. You're right. Okay, that was an easy one. But hey, trivia queens.
Hey, just keeping up the streak.
You know.
Keeping it going. As we do. You got some trivia for us? Send it over. We won't even Google it.
Seriously,
first.
Please.
Yeah, send us some trivia, please.
We'll read them off on the episode.
Yep. We'll even mention whatever name you'd like us to, saying, oh, thank you to you. And that will be so special.
There was a thing I wanted to mention, a theory. Did you see the video I posted in the Band of Clowns with Nikki King and the Secret Garden key of it all?
No. Oh, I see it. I think I see it now. The one with the Opalite music video?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so Nikki King found a Easter egg in the Opalite music video where it's like 1993. I think she specified in like an interview or something that this is in 1993. And then the lonely guy is going to the movie theater and he has a calendar up above his bed for like August in 1993. And then Nikki like looked out like what movies came out in August 1993. The Secret Garden came out in 1993. And then when he's in line to buy the tickets and he says 2 and he's got his loaf of bread or whatever that is that he's buying the ticket for, over him there is a key like in the background in the mall, like it's a store sign or something, but it's a key.
Right.
So it's the Secret Garden. It's the key to the Secret Garden.
Wow.
In her mind. So yeah,
that's amazing. The Secret Garden in her mind. That is so neat.
And there was more to it. Everyone should go to Nikki King's video. It was like 5 minutes long.
But that's the nub and gist. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I love that.
Me too. Yeah, it's just like, dang, that can't be an accident. Like,
no.
That's crazy.
No.
Like the key over his head. Like, seriously.
Right. I love that. And then, like, I wonder how many things like that are out there that we haven't discovered yet. So.
And I wonder how much the key ties into everything because now I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Right. Because the Eras Tour key. The Eras
Tour stage, right, was a key. The showgirl, the set list, if you center aligned it, made the Eras Tour stage, which is a key. And then the locks during the showgirl, like, merch.
Release
or
thing?
not merch, but, like, the variant rollouts. You remember those? The different colored locks?
Yes,
There's 4 of them.
Oh
Showgirl
my gosh.
was, like, the first one. And, like, it could be the different variants. Or it could be more.
Or it could be something else. Yeah.
I think there is more to
cool.
the keys of it all. Because it's gone across multiple albums now.
Right.
Including all the eras. Besides debut. Because it was the Eras Tour. I do think we are maybe entering into a new era. She also scrubbed. Sorry, I'm like remembering all these things I've seen in the last couple weeks. She also scrubbed her Spotify like little clips, and there's only one like Tortured Poets Department clip on there now, and that one used to not have sound, and now it does have sound. I don't know what the sound is. But,
oh my gosh.
and it's the only one up. And then I was like reading the comments, because a lot of times you'll see people say, no, the videos are still up, you know, like
right.
it's like not even real. And then the author, someone did say that, the author responded and said, yeah, I've seen people say that, and then like if you click on the video, like the other videos that are still up, they bring you to that clip that's the only one up. And the person commented back and was like, oh my God, you're right. So
okay, well, wins in the East.
Right. So usually when she scrubs things like that, it's because we're entering a new era. I don't think it's TS13. A lot of people are saying gold for TS13, and they think we're going into that. But I think we're going into debut TV. Personally.
That would be amazing. And then all there's left is Reputation. But
we don't need an explanation.
We don't need it. Right. Exactly. We don't need any explanations. Like
only Reputation.
Only. It's fine. We'll be fine.
And it is funny because we kind of did get an explanation with like the whole like letter about the masters and stuff.
Right. But No. It's but also it's just like
the ploy.
Remember the whole thing with The Handmaid's Tale where the new version of Look What You Made Me Do is on there.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and it was so good.
Done some of it.
Right. So you're telling me she's just going to never finish that project? She is the type of person that finishes the projects. You know what I mean? Like I start even with a broken heart. I'm the type of person where I start a project with vigor and enthusiasm, and then I randomly stop halfway through. That's how it just like stops holding my attention.
Well, we all have our strengths.
Exactly. And that I think is one of hers. That's what I'm deciding, and that's just the explanation. That is the explanation, and we will get it at some point in time. But we don't have to, of course. It's fine. It's fine.
No, I will live if we don't. But I think there's more in that saga for us than just the vault tracks. But we'll see.
Yep, we'll see.
Maybe
Time will tell.
Being optimistic.
Right. We can hold on to hope, I think. Yeah. Delusional? I don't know. I just call it hopeful.
Yeah.
Probably.
Both work. Interchangeable, really.
Yep. Nice.
Yep. Yep. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Crimenelia Street. You can follow us on TikTok at Crimenelia ST Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Crimenelia Street. Like and subscribe or watch us on YouTube at Crimenelia Street Podcast. Or you can send us emails if you have any episode suggestions, any Taylor trivia, any maybe run-ins with true crime in your personal life that you'd like to share at crimeneliast@gmail.com. Bye, clowns.
Bye, clowns.